Hey, what's up, guys and gals? So today we're going to talk about 4 high-value secondary VA claims you should consider filing. Yeah, I'm talking about those golden ticket claims that might actually get you more than a pat on the back and a thanks for your service. But first, let's start with a quote. Don't fire until you see the whites in their eyes. This quote is attributed to several American commanders, including Israel Putnam during the Battle of Bunker Hill during the American Revolutionary War. This quote emphasizes the importance of conserving ammunition and maximizing the likelihood of hitting the enemy. I'm sure you're wondering, how does this relate to claims? Although denials is a part of the game, providing ample amounts of relevant evidence and context count as our ammunition, and using it properly will maximize the likelihood of winning claims. Anyway, back to the secondary claims. What the heck is a high-value secondary claim? Okay, first, we'll start with secondary claims. These are basically disabilities you have now, but they're a direct result of something that's already service-connected. Got bad knees because you had to jump out perfectly good airplanes back in the day? Boom, secondary. Now, a high-value claim is exactly what it sounds like. It's a claim that's probably going to score you 30% or more. And trust me, if you're going to go through the trouble of filing one of these, you want to aim for 30% and above. Why bother doing all the paperwork for a 0 or 10%? If you're going to go to war with bureaucracy, you better come out with more than just a ribbon. Now let's get to the high-value secondary list. The first one up is hypertension, aka high blood pressure. Ah, yes, hypertension. It's like a secret handshake for veterans. Either you have it or you're about to get it, or you're in denial. Basically, your blood pressure is just extra, like a person who wears sunglasses indoors. You've got 2 numbers, right? Systolic pressure is the one on the top, and diastolic pressure is the one on the bottom. Now, this is not about fashion, but those numbers actually determine your rating. To file a VA claim for hypertension, you need a current diagnosis, a medical record, yep, gotta have those receipts, and this magical thing called a nexus, which is a link that says, yep, that high blood pressure is absolutely because of this other thing you suffer through. Let me lay out the ratings here. You usually get a 10% rating if your diastolic pressure is between 100 and 109, or your systolic pressure is between 160 and 199 range. 20% usually means that your diastolic pressure is 110 to 119, or your systolic pressure hits 200. 40 to 60% ratings if these numbers keep climbing. Spoiler alert, high blood pressure means high ratings. And here's a popular one, hypertension secondary to sleep apnea. Maybe you've heard of sleep apnea, where sleep is basically a WWE match between you and your own airways. Connecting sleep apnea to hypertension can be a winning combo, but only if you play your cards right. Make sure to check out other successful cases because the VA is all about consistency. Links in the description. The second high-value secondary claim is insomnia. Who needs sleep anyway? Oh, insomnia. Veterans and insomnia are like peanut butter and jelly. Iconic. I once got a full 8 hours of sleep. It only took me 3 days, but hey, it happened. Insomnia is essentially your body's way of saying, we're going to think about everything at 2 a.m. You either have acute insomnia, which lasts a few days, or chronic insomnia, which sticks around forever. Winning a claim for insomnia? It's the usual suspects, diagnosis, nexus, and those pesky symptoms. Insomnia is typically rated as a mental health condition, with the usual ratings of 0, 10%, 30, 50, 70, and 100%. Most claims land around 30% unless you're dealing with other mental health heavy hitters, like PTSD, major depressive disorder, or generalized anxiety. Then you can kick that rating up to 50 to 70% range. A helpful tip, the VA looks at how this affects your work and social life. If it's not a problem, well, you're probably going to get a 0. But hey, honesty counts. The third high-value secondary condition, Degenerative Disc Disease. Ouch isn't just a word. This is a fancy term for saying your spine's discs have given up on you. It's like when the cushions on your old couch just give up and flatten. Most of us have this. Thank you, military lifestyle. You've got discs in your neck, your back, and everywhere else between. Over time, they wear out, causing some nasty stuff. Bone on bone grinding, herniated discs, pinched nerves, real fun, right? VA ratings for degenerative disc disease can range anywhere from 10 to 100%. It all depends on how frequently, severely, and for how long the symptoms bother you. Expect to get checked with this little weird protractor thingy called a goniometer. If the examiner is eyeballing it instead of using the goniometer, challenge that. No one's eyes are calibrated for spine flexibility. The fourth one, carpal tunnel syndrome, not just for gamers. Yeah, I have it. And if you've spent many years wrenching on equipment or typing up reports, you might too. It's like the median nerve in your wrist decides to become a total diva. Cue numbness, tingling, pain, all the hits. Most veterans get rated at 10%, which is just, well, lame. The key is to report all the symptoms. Don't underplay it because it doesn't hurt. Talk about the tingling, the numbness, and how you can't grip a coffee mug without spilling half of it. VA ratings for carpal tunnel fall in 4 buckets: mild incomplete, moderate incomplete, severe incomplete, and complete paralysis. Remember, this can be a bilateral claim. If both hands are affected, you're doubling your chances at a better rating. Alright guys, so that's 4 high-value secondary claims you should consider filing: hypertension, insomnia, degenerative disc disease, and carpal tunnel syndrome. If you have any of these, it's time to file those claims and do it right. Remember, you want to stack up those ratings and make it worth your while. Don't settle for those 0% claims that barely cover your gas money. Let's go for the big ones that will actually make a difference. And when it comes to low-hanging fruit, it's even more important to know when and how the VA considers ratings permanent. And that's what this next video breaks down.